Hello everybody. So we're going to be doing a stream today. By request in the Pantheon forum, somebody wanted us to maybe break down the previous stream that Visionary Realm streamed out, so you're going to be watching this footage again, but we're going to have Dow try and explain what is actually going on with the devs as they're playing along, when they're hitting the monsters in combat and all sorts. So we're going to start off the video and we'll take it from there.
Alright. Okay. Well, obviously we're starting out with the walk into the group, I guess, right?
Yep, that's it. That's what they were doing. He was
and
on
this
his
is
way
where
to the
Brad
group.
was talking about everything is pre-alpha, so it's pre-alpha for the graphics and stuff like that. But they basically wanted to go ahead and show us that they have a stable system and show us a little bit about the combat, etc. And one of the requests on the forum was, hey, could you explain what's kind of going on, what they're doing, what the devs are doing. So we'll kind of try to explain that from what I can remember watching the stream. I think I watched the stream like 3 times now, 4 times. So I'll try to recall it from memory as best I can. They're fighting. And if those of you who have never played EverQuest, this is much like EverQuest, the original EverQuest, the hardcore EverQuest, before it became cheesed down, dumbed down, and made it so easy that you could, you know, do anything you want, sort of thing. We're going to try to explain that, but right now this is the part of the video where it sits here and drags as he's walking. But he's showing you a little bit of the environment too. And I can't remember who this was making his way there. I think it was Algan.
Yeah, it was Algan.
Algan's making his way to the group. So the rest of the devs are in a group right now waiting down the road. So he's making his way there. Looks like there's a bad guy hanging out in the woods there. Bats and some bears along the way. They're kind of like static spawns. But the funny thing is the static spawns in EverQuest, believe it or not, were not just static where they stood there. They actually would stand there for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, sometimes a minute, and then they'd walk off and go onto another path. So chances are you might run into them on the road, or they'll cross your path. We're almost there. They got like a battle keep or a keep of some sort off to the right there in the video. Visuals weren't too bad for this. I was surprised, actually.
Yeah, this
I
is
like what they did.
this is basically Avendir's Pass. You know, just outside of Thronefast, for the people that might have missed it or are interested. The starting city of the humans, and this is part of the Avendir's Pass.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, no, it's not Algan. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Kilson. Oh no, there's Kilson. There's Joppa, Arduin. So who are we?
I'm gonna quickly go and bring this back with the buff. Maybe you can explain here. Oops, that was a bit too far. Explain.
Whoa!
I'm trying to get there. It jumped. And should be coming up in a minute. Where this buff comes along, and maybe you can explain what this could possibly be in terms of your days in EverQuest. Because it was more of a question about breaking down the combat and stuff like that. So he's coming up to the group now, and I'll pause it as soon as I see the buff, and you can go from there down.
Dude, I don't know what buff it's gonna be.
Maybe you can speculate. That one right there. Maybe you can speculate.
I think that's an armor buff. Probably a low level. It's like a low level armor buff. It's like a protection.
Hey, Kodiak.
The name of the spell.
Welcome to the stream, Kodiak.
Hey, Kodiak. How you doing? Yeah, I can't remember exactly what the name of that spell was. But it was like it gave you like a little bit of armor, a little bit of health, and a little bit of mana. I'm trying to remember what it was exactly. It's been a while. It's been a long time. What the cleric buffs were. So anyway, that was probably an armor buff right there. And if I remember right, Kilson's playing a rogue. Arduin is a warrior. I believe I can't remember who's playing this character that we're actually looking through the eyes of, but he's the wizard. He's a wizard. You got the other wizard.
Dropper was a healer, right?
Joppa was a healer. That's
Yeah, he's a
correct.
cleric. Yeah, he's playing the cleric. So maybe we can actually take a look at the. Let me try and go back a few seconds. If we look at Joppa there, classic cleric, a mace in the hand and a shield, defensive shield.
Yeah. Yep, like classic EverQuest when you start out with just a mace and a shield. So, and of course a wizard staff. Alright, so they're showing us some of the dance animations. That must be some sort of spell effect he's trying to either cast, or it's just something. Yeah, he was doing a cast when he was dancing. If you look at the UI onto your right-hand side in the UI, I don't know if you can see it very well clearly on the stream, but that's the feedback where it tells you what you hit a wolf for 12 damage. You know, a wolf hits you back for a point of damage. So you can see that there's the flavored text that's going to give you feedback what the mobs are doing to you in game, which a lot of MMOs don't do anymore. Why I understand what I've seen. I've never seen that feedback given back to me. Get hit and smacked. Watch your hit points go down. That's it. So they're making their way off to the orc camp, if I remember correctly. They'll be stumbling upon this orc camp pretty soon. Here. So I think they do come across the orc in the middle of the path here. Buzz through here. They're running. I think they also had some play testers in here too. If I remember right, they had a couple other players pulling this orc camp. They're trying to share the camp a little bit, and then they were joking around about kill stealing them. Which KSing was a big term in EverQuest. It was when you went up and you steal a mob from a group or a player. And then EverQuest eventually came along and they blocked it, so where when you locked onto a mob, it was locked to your character.
I've paused the video, so maybe
take it anymore.
So maybe you can explain what we're seeing here with the
UI.
The UI here right now.
All right, so this is your character sheet. Each one of those slots represents part of your character's armor or body. You got, like, on your lower left-hand side, you got your ring slots, your right finger, your left finger. We'll go clockwise, and then you go up. I believe that's a back slot. Or no, sorry. Hand slot. You have your hand slot, so he's got a set of red gloves on. And then I believe the next slot's your belt. And then the next slot is a... I'm trying to make out that graphic. It's a little crude right now. Not quite sure what that is. And then a parchment. I'm not sure what that parchment is either. Never seen that. So that's not classic EverQuest there. So that's something else completely. That's an earring. So you got your right earring. Then right here you have your... I'll make that one out too. Looks like your shoulder pauldrons. And then I believe that's a hat. So that's like some sort of cover for your head. Your face mask. Sometimes you get a face mask. Your necklace, and obviously your left earring. And I'm not sure what that is, that slot either. It might be something to do with spell casting perhaps, or a pouch on the side of your belt even. I don't know what that is. And then you got your belt, and then you have your... Exactly what that is. That could be leggings perhaps. And then... Oh yeah, that one's your leggings. So the one was your back slot up at the top. I bet you to the left was the back slot. That orange looking crude thing was the back slot, and that was your set of pants, because that one looked like a cape. And then the relic slot, which is for the new mana climates. That's going to be a pretty cool deal, where you're in any zone. You might have a small area in a zone. You might have a small village in the area which has a different color mana. You equip this relic depending on the color and the mana in the area, it will actually charge this relic, which will give you bonuses to your spells or bonus damage. They really haven't gone into depth of how it's going to work, but it gives you kind of an idea that it's going to absorb the mana in the local area, charging a crystal or the relic in your slot, so you can actually proc on your spells and stuff like that.
Do you want to go and talk about the stats as well that we see here?
Stats.
Which we miss nowadays in most MMOs.
Yeah, most MMOs you don't have your strength, your stamina, your agility, dexterity, your constitution, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. And for those of you who don't know what constitution is, but most players should, but the classic EverQuest and D&D tabletop players will know that constitution goes towards your hit points, and it's also how hard you are in combat. Then you got your strength. Strength helps, it's a modifier for damage. And your stamina, obviously, so you're swinging your sword. Eventually, if you don't have enough stamina to swing your sword, you're going to be weak, and it's going to, obviously, some negative penalties to your combat. Agility means where you can block and stuff like that. Same along with dexterity. And dexterity is more for your rogues, so they can actually do backstabbing, stuff like that. Your wisdom is more of a stat for your clerics. You know, the higher that is, the better, you know, your mana pool is for a cleric. Your intelligence, that's better for your casters, like your summoners, your magicians, your wizards, probably a necromancer even. Your druids and your clerics and paladins tend to use more of the wisdom slot. And then charisma. Your charisma is very important, because in EverQuest, if the higher your charisma you had, the lower the cost for vendors that you could buy certain items and weapons and etc. Region, you get kind of a little bit of a discount.
Thanks for breaking that down, Dale.
Not a problem.
I'm taking over the managing point of this stream today because I only played EverQuest like 11 years after it was released, and I only spent a few hours in the game to just have a good look, so I can't really say what the old EQ was like. So try and break this down here now as well.
Alright, so they ran into an orc, and they just killed it. So there's some spell casting going on, and there's a fight, but it's a little hard to break that down. He's going ahead and loot. He's going to take all the loot. And usually in EverQuest, the loot was either a bone, it was a mask, it was a piece of armor, it could have been an orc eye, stuff like that. And then we got some aggro, so he aggroed this orc, and that's why it's chasing him. Because that orc obviously was coming up behind those guys in the group, and they didn't realize it was coming up behind them. So they just schwacked it. And just to let everybody know too, these guys are level 7 in this group, and I guess the area they're in right now is like level 3, perhaps level 2, the mobs. So that's why they're kind of killing them down pretty quick. So some people in the stream, I remember watching them saying, well, you guys are too powerful, that's too easy. Well, they're actually level 7 going against level 2 and level 3 mobs, and like in EverQuest, the same thing would happen. You could cut down dudes pretty quick. Went back to an old, a beginning. So right here, the group is trying to figure out their strategy, what they're going to do, who's going to be the pooler. Obviously, Audrun's the tank, or Aradun, I should say, is the tank. So he's going to go in and he's going to try to single pull here at the orc camp. And that's what you did in EverQuest. You try to pull a single mob in because, if you got 2 or 3 mobs, they could beat the whole group down, especially if you're low level. So, I'm going to try to single pull it here. What happens. Remember, right, he pulls like 3 of them. So he's got 3 of them now when he was trying to go for 1. And that happens in EverQuest. Here they go, they're going to go smack down. The wizard here is casting. And he casted some sort of buff, I believe. So they're schwacking it down. Now, this is what's different, too, if you want to pause here. What's different about Pantheon is that, I don't know if they're going to change this UI or not, but if you look at this orc drudge in front here, the wizard, he's got a little purple spell icon above him. In EverQuest, there was no such thing. You didn't know what was on the mob So until later on, years down the road, when they start making it easier, you could click on a target and kind of give you an idea what was on the mob. So this might be something they're going to go ahead and implement, but it lets the other players know that what you hit this mob with. So I'm not sure what the spell effect is, but it lets all the other players know that, hey, you just hit them with, like, I don't know, some sort of maybe weakening spell here. Not quite sure, maybe an armor destroyer. So that's kind of a cool thing. Okay, right there, I know that one they talked about. It was leaking wound. They called that one right there. Yeah, it was leaking. So he just got hit with leaking wound. So now you know this mob's been hit with leaking wound. Now it's been hit with something else there. It was really quick. So that's kind of a visual reference for the other members in your group, just in case you might have a spell. And why it's important is because in EverQuest, you could hit a mob with a certain spell and it would override another member's spell and group. But this is a good visual cue to say, hey, okay, I can't cast this because I know. If you know your character and you know about your party's makeup, I shouldn't cast this because it's going to overwrite, his spell. So that's kind of a cool thing to have, and it'll actually help the group a little bit better. Because back in the day, it used to be, hey, I'm going to go cast this, and you'd have set up some little hot buttons and macros that would tell the group, hey, I'm casting, heal over time, or I'm casting a slow, etc., etc. So that was kind of a text, visual to your party members. But now with the voiceover, it'll be a little bit easier. And then, of course, with those visual cues and learning the different spell icons from your group, it'll actually help you in the long run. So it'll make combat a little bit easier to strategize.
So it looks like they're vesting here. So do you want to go a bit into that?
So back in EverQuest, back in the day, you used to have to sit and regen mana. In today's MMOs, you can just run around your mana gens like that. So they're going back to the classic D&D style and EverQuest style, which is you had to sit your character's butt down to actually regen mana. To actually regenerate faster when you're sitting. If you're standing, it's going to take a lot longer and over a longer period of time to regen your mana for your spell casting. So this is the way you used to do it too, because the reason why you used to sit like this too is also helped allow you to socialize with your friends. It allow you to talk about, hey, what was that spell effect you just did? And you guys could talk about it, and he could say, oh yeah, this spell was a slow spell, and it slows them for this much percentage damage and stuff like that. So it actually helped you learn about your other group members as well. So this was the old way we used to, spend time waiting for mana to get up for the casters, because the casters were always the ones that were waiting for mana. And this was also the time for the cleric to gen mana up, because the cleric is going to be busy healing the tank a lot in the group as well. So that's what they were doing there. Reasons kind of why they did it that way and why they're going to bring it back is so it brings a social aspect to it too. Hopefully I'm breaking this down pretty good for some of those who don't know what's going on, and for that request of what we had. Trying to explain it as best I can, because I don't know how. This reminds me of EverQuest. A lot like EverQuest, only the spell effects and the spell names are completely different. So I can only guess and assume, what they were actually casting here.
Well, if we get complaints, I'll just blame you.
Yeah, there you go. It's always good. Getting ready to pull again, if I remember right.
So actually, let me just quickly go and where is it? He's standing. I'm trying to get there. There we go. We can see the tank in a minute. Ah, bollocks. Oh, there we go. Right, I'm going to pause it here. And I'm going to try and move it forward. See if we can turn around again and get Oradun. Right, you want to talk about what he's wearing there?
What he's wearing?
Yeah, Oradun with his as the tank.
His sword?
Yep, sword and buckler.
Sword and buckler. Yeah, so it almost looks like a Fiery Avenger from EverQuest. Or the Fiery Defender.
We do not want to talk about that. pleased.
Why not? We talked about it yesterday. But, yeah, so that's what he's got. He's got his sword equipped, and it's got like a flame effect on it. So, obviously it'll do some fire damage. And that's another thing, too, what they're bringing back, too, is that, you know, resists mean something in this game. So if you get hit by a spellcaster who's throwing, you know, ice at you or some sort of cold, you're going to need some cold resist to help reduce the damage you're taking. Otherwise, if you don't have any cold resist, you're going to take a pounding. So, I like the fact that they're bringing that back into gaming because it's more of a strategy. It's more realistic, too. Today's MMOs allow you just to blast through crap. And it doesn't penalize you enough. Armor buff of some sort. I'm sure that's what that is, or a protective shield. They're casting there. I think, if I remember right, I think he called it, oh gosh, what was it? It'll come to me here in a minute. Part about it. Yeah, Fuzzy Troll Idol. Strength 1, Wisdom 1, Weight 1. So right there, you just found a named orc, and it has a Fuzzy Troll Idol. So you can equip that. It's going to give him Wisdom 1, you know, Strength 1, and it weighs 1. So your weight, too, matters in this game as well. So the more money you collect or more items you collect in your bags, the heavier you're going to be. So it's going to encumber you, and it's going to make your fighting a lot harder to do.
Well, a question I have quickly. When he looted the monster, he looted all. As we can see now, inside his inventory, that idol does not appear. So I'm guessing he has as it as a random choice.
I think he's getting ready to destroy it, wasn't he?
No, he destroyed a bone. That's a bone he's destroying. So I'm guessing it's either passed on to either the player that needs it, or it's a random loot system.
I don't know. Not quite sure. They were calling him a loot ninja, so I think that the loot system is back to the basic where whoever loots the corpse gets the loot. So I don't know if they're going to do round robin loot, or they're going to make it back to the day where, hey, group gets together and at the end of the when they get ready before they log to go ahead and split up the loot and divide the loot. That's one of the things we used to do in EverQuest. But yeah, it looks like they're having a good old time though.
Yeah, there's actually some other people in the. If you look at the chat, you can see some of the names pop up there, waving at each other.
Yeah, that could be some of the other testers. You know, people who've actually bought in the pledges and are actually helping out with the testing. You buy the originator's pledge, I believe. You can get in there and you're actually a tester. So they'll ask you to come in and test, or you can play on the test.
There's the other group right now.
So. If I remember right, they bring Crazy in later in the battle up the road.
Yeah. So at the moment they're grouped with 5 players, but they said there's going to be a group of 6.
Yeah, group of 6. I think the max group's going to be 6, and then raids. I don't think they're going to do the raid limitation like, I think Age of Conan was like 24. I think World of Warcraft was like 24, wasn't it? Can't remember.
I think that's scaled.
Yeah, so they did scaled raids. In EverQuest, we never did scaled raids. You can have as large as you wanted. You can have, 200 freaking people show up. So, I don't know if they're going to do that here with this game or not. Sure. Don't know a whole lot about the raid system yet. But I like mass scale raids. I don't like the just 24-man raids, because then it's more pain in the ass balancing you have to do. Try to scale the raids to 24 people. Because I remember raids that used to be 100, 200 people in EverQuest to take out a single mob. And you'd have at least 50, 60, almost 100 players dead.
We see on this
the mob is still alive.
Orc Drudge is another spell that's been cast now. It looks like some kind of fear.
Yeah, it could be like a fear spell or something. I don't know. Interesting. And it all depends too on your spells, how long they last too. I think some of the spells are 30 seconds. The root,
Was
I
that a
think they
rat?
call it web. Huh?
Did I just see a rat run across the screen?
Probably. They were joking about that actually. They kept making references, go kill 10 rats.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that, do we? I had enough about that yesterday, dude.
Yeah, I think when we talk about killing 10 rats, that enrages you a little bit. And it brings back terrible memories for you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hopefully this is answering the questions for some of those out there who didn't know what was going on in the stream or couldn't quite understand what was going on. Because it was quick. I mean, they were having fun and talking and joking around, and here we are, you know, watching it in awe and excitement and looking at all the visuals and what's going on. So once again, there's Arduin pulling the orc. So he's trying to single pull to the camp. So everybody's breaking it down and killing it, working together to destroy the one mob, because no one single man can take down the mob by itself. Not unless you're like level 10 and you're in the level 1 zone, then yeah, you can beat it by yourself. But if I remember right, these orcs start getting a little bit tougher here. There they are working together to defeat it. And that's a nice thing about EverQuest too, because you had to work together to defeat the mob. It wasn't just one guy taking on one mob by himself. To work as a team, cut him down.
You can see
he gets ready to single pull again.
You can see also the classical setup when you grouped. You had your tank basically in front, you had the scout behind him, the mage to the side and stuff, so they don't get any AE damage and stuff like that.
Yep, your casters, all your casters used to sit in the back, or they were behind the group of the main tank and the damage dealers, like your rogue and stuff.
So it looks like you got put to sleep here. He was standing there, bedazzled by the looks of it.
Yeah, or stunned. Yeah, it's a little hard to see the text on the stream, what they're actually doing and the damage they're causing. I think they said they had to tune the damage down on the rogue a little bit because the backstab was way too high. So they're still doing some balancing with that. And if I remember, this is where Arduin goes to pull a single pull, and he ends up pulling like the entire orc camp up there inside that wooden structure. Rightly. Okay, he's killing that orc prophet. I think it's after this prophet. Yeah, and there's spell fizzles too. I don't know if I mentioned that, but there was spell fizzles back in EverQuest as well. Oop, see, they got some aggro because there's some wanderers because they got too close. So if you get too close to the paths of some of these mobs, will aggro on you and chase you down.
So it just
right
looks,
there, the wizard.
Yeah, looks like he bedazzled them, stunned them for a short period of time.
And then he's also rooted them with a web, I think it is. Or ethereal web or something like that's called. Where he roots it into place for about 30 to 40 seconds. So the mob's stunned there, so it's crowd control. And then, oh, I believe they had an enchanter too as well. So an enchanter is actually crowd control as well. So enchanter and a wizard rooting and mezzing, working together, can actually, you know, control up to like 5 or 6 mobs if you really get into a bind with a group. Then you just single-handedly go around and attack mob. So.
Welcome.
Cool. But yeah, it just reminds me of classic EverQuest. It was cool. There you go, a giant rat. It's the orc prophet here. Throwing all the garbage in the He's getting his mana up, it looks like. See here where he's got to do that pull, I think. He's gonna go loot some more. He's the ninja looter. Gotta be it, where he runs in there and it gets the whole entire wooden structure.
Don't worry about the background noise on my end, guys. I got some. My son's got his friend over. We're looking after their kids, so I'll try and silence them as much as I can.
Alright, so here's a big train. Yeah, that's right. He aggroed the entire orc camp. So this is where Arduin goes down and gets wiped out completely because he just got beat down by, it looks like, about 10 orcs. That was classic EverQuest 2. If you screwed up, you could get in the entire zone or an entire camp to come rushing out on you and killing you. Pushing you. So, good times, man. Classic. So, other than that, I mean, I don't know. That's the best I can break down as far as, you know, what we were asked to do. Some of these players out there who didn't quite catch what was going on in the stream.
I think we could fast forward a bit as well. Get a bit more.
Yeah. I'm starting to get bored myself. Talking.
Well, we can talk about. We can talk about. Let me try and see what it is. I'll go to. Let's jump over to. Oh, I think that's a different mob there now, isn't it? There we go. Let's talk about this. We have a withered mummy.
What about the withered mummy?
Yeah, talk about it. It looks cool. Oh, and a spider.
A large venomous spider at that. So that's always the bad thing too, is the ads that might be roaming around. So you get roamers that will actually come in and help. Some of them are social in EverQuest. So if you attacked a certain creature, the other creatures would actually help. So the more of the creatures that were social in the forest would actually come to their aid and actually help those other creatures. So then you're in trouble. So if you're beating down on a spider, chances are you might get a snake that might get involved, or a bear would get involved, or a tiger would get involved. I mean, it's just, it went on and on and on. So yeah, it could be very dangerous, and the aggro you generate could spread to another mob passing by. So yeah, this is really some spell effects going on here. Sounds like you got your hands full over there today.
Yep. I'm going to try and move on to, before they went into the atmosphere thingy.
Oh, the atmosphere?
Actually, no, we're gonna go and talk about this right now, spellbook and everything.
Oh, the spellbook?
Yep. So you want to go and quickly fact that up?
Oh my gosh, good lord, I don't have the website up to talk about that codex. It's actually your spellbook/codex. So,
Raiden, close the door, please. Mummity
I haven't
Turtle.
actually read up on that yet, so. But if you look at the, I don't know how you can see it in the stream, but the top right spell there in the book is an ethereal chords. It's a root spell that lasts like 30 seconds. Then they had some single target damage. So they're all single target, it looks like from here, from what I can tell. But you have Glint, which is like 5 to 8 points of direct frost damage. It's a cold spell, cold-based spell. So depending on the mob might have cold resist. So the more cold resist it's have, the less damage you're going to probably do to the mob. Ethereal Chords is a root spell like the old root in EverQuest. That one looks like it lasts 30 seconds, up to 30 seconds. So if the mob has resist, obviously it could last a little bit less. It could be like a 10-second root spell. Then it looks like he's got gate up there too, so you can actually gate to your bind point as well. Little beans. And let's see, where was it? The atmospheres? You're gonna jump to atmosphere? Talked a little bit about the climate mana already, so due to the atmospheres, kind of explain to the player the question that we got asked. Alright, so here they're battling some Union of Shadow dudes. Part of the lore story of the game. I recommend going to Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen's website, and read on the lore to understand what's kind of going on with the storyline and the lore. But out in the background you see that swirling purple-white writing. That's what they call an atmosphere, and what it is, it can do certain things to you in the area. So not only are you trying to fend off the environment and defeat the mobs and, snakes, bears, etc., bad guys, but you're also going to have to fight the environment. And what this thing does is actually, it slows you down. It starts draining your mana, draining your health points. So if you get stuck in there and you hang out too long, the stronger it gets, the more it drains you faster and quicker. So that's going to be coming up here where some of the guys are running through there, and it starts draining them and then slowing them down. So the longer they're in that effect, the harder it is to get out of that effect. And it also makes it quite interesting too for your combat, because you might have mobs on the other side of that atmosphere, and now you run through it, you get bogged down in it, those mobs are going to help finish you off. So it's going to make some more tactical challenge, so it's going to make the game a lot more interesting as well. That's something EverQuest didn't have, and so this is a new thing.
It looks like they've got unions as well. Worker groups. They've got the Union of Shadow, for instance, for the...
They got unions established, right? Labor unions?
Yeah,
working together to destroy one world after another. But, yeah, so it's going to be interesting as far as the atmospheres are concerned. So that'd be really cool to run into. And they said it's going to be attached to, it can be attached to statues, objects. You might be able to destroy the object to destroy the atmosphere so you can pass through an area. So they said on their next stream they'll kind of explain a little bit of that or show some of that in action. So we can't wait. We're excited to see some more footage of the game and this climate and mana stuff and the atmosphere stuff. So it's going to be really cool.
You have to do a lot of apologising when I uploaded this stream.
Yeah, I think you need to apologize to everybody. Sorry, my kid went wild in the background.
Actually, it's not my kid, it's his friend, so I'll blame on his friend.
Blame it on his friend. We're just going to blame it on your terrible parenting.
Can I get mine tonight, Victor? Here we go. Hang on. Pause.
What?
Right, do you want to talk about the skills here? What you can see? Maybe you can speculate on something here?
Speculate? I don't like to speculate too much, but I can tell you I know some of this is classic EverQuest right here. You got Evocation, Alteration. I've never heard of, I don't remember Expulsion in EverQuest. Fortification, don't remember that one. Illumination, that's something new. Manifestation, Materialization, that's something new. Meditate, obviously that's EverQuest Classic. Meditate is the stronger that skill is, 100%, the faster your mana will regen to when you're sitting. So you gain that skill through levels or skill points you get when you did level. You could actually add more points into it or buy points to increase it. So, and then like your defense, your hand-to-hand combat, your offense, one-hand piercing, one-hand sword. The more you had a one-handed sword equipped, the more that skill would go up. For instance, staves. If you had a staff equipped, the more that skill would go up. And say you could use staves and swords. If you have the staff equipped, you're going to end up having the staff skill go up more higher and higher and higher, and the more damage and the more accurate your hit was going to be. Your sword would stay the same because you don't have your sword equipped. So that's those stats. And then of course like there's swimming too. There's a swimming stat. So swimming is important. So the lower your swimming skill, the chances are you drowning and getting stuck in the water was higher too.
Jongs!
Wow.
Ruhe! Tötung!
Ray,
mach deine Tötung!
Hallo. Das hättest du dir auch denken können.
Quite a party going on there, man.
Yep.
So.
I'll just silence that out.
But other than that, man, that's it. That's the excitement. I can really break it down. I don't know how much that one person would like it broke down. Yeah, sound like I'm talking to myself. Oh, trying to be exciting. But now, did you get any more new questions from yesterday?
Let me have a look.
We can talk about some questions people had. But it's pre-alpha, so if you're watching the stream, it's pre-alpha. Here you go, the atmosphere effect. Starts draining you, getting weakened, it's hitting their health points, mana, etc. So it makes it very different. Different gameplay. I think Final Fantasy XI, somebody said, tried to copy this, but not quite. Didn't quite work the same.
Nope, no new questions, dude.
Wow. Cool. Alright, I suppose. But it looks interesting, though. I can't wait to see more footage of this. This is going to be awesome when the devs do another stream. It'll be fun. There he is, sitting down there, getting the mana up, and they're trying to figure out a strategy to get through there because they ran into some mobs on the other side. Woohoo! I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this game. I can't wait. Cool.
Very, very promising.
Definitely. Keep it challenging, keep it tough. Don't spoon feed me and don't give me free crap. I want to work for it and I want to earn it. I want to feel like I accomplished something. I'm tired of this crap where you just walk away from the MMO and you feel like I didn't accomplish anything today. Like there's no point. Yeah, I killed 7,000 mobs today and I leveled up 8 times in 1 hour. I just hate that feeling. Like, it's just so dumbed down. Today's MMOs.
Yeah, I was going to set up my microphone, have a look, see if I can get it muted somehow when I'm not talking. I was just reading the forums as well. Somebody suggested I try and get that all set up. So it must be possible. I have to go and look, see what OBS can do on that point. Saves everybody the hassle.
Yeah, or you find a bedroom in the house, where or a room in the house where you can like set up a computer center and lock them all out.
I'll be the cellar then. I'll be the cellar. I'll have to go in the cellar.
Go in the cellar. There you go. Go to the cellar. Go into your dungeon. Live stream from my dungeon. Hearing chains swinging in the background, dripping water. Drip, drip.
Well, I
So
thought
here
that
we go. We
covers.
got the town.
Yep.
Huh?
That covers most of the action.
Yeah, that covers most of the combat. I mean, from there on, they're just combating, and then they run into the big boss mob. And I mentioned this yesterday in yesterday's stream, and I'll mention today's stream. The Necromancers and Bards will be post-launch, so you won't get to play them right off the bat. They're going to be a post-launch class to play.
Yep, so I think that about does it. I think we covered quite a bit. You did a really good job, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you. I feel like I was talking to myself.
So we hope you guys enjoyed it and got a bit more in depth to what was going on, especially to those people that never played EverQuest and are really interested in what is going on, which direction this game's going to go.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because this game, you can't judge it right now and go, "Oh my gosh, it's so weird looking," or "It's so old." Believe it or not, this is catering to. They're not trying to cater to everybody, okay, which is a good thing. Because I'm tired of developers trying to cater to every little whiner, every problem child out there known to man who wants it this way or wants it that way. They're catering to a specific gamer, and if you look at it, a lot of us who are watching this game and its development are former die-hard EverQuest and Dungeons & Dragons fans who want to see hardcore gaming back to the old days where it was tough. It was a challenge. You didn't get handed the mob. It took 20, 30 to take down a bad dude, and one person or two people would walk away with some cool stuff, and the rest of everybody else would have to wait. And you had to roll for it. So that was the day. In some of these raids now, it's all about everybody gets the piece of plate armor. So you learned when you repeated the raids. You learned the strategy. You learn how to get other people together and other guilds together to take down the bad guy and work together to get everybody the gear and gear up for the next major end game content. And a lot of MMOs seem to be gearing everybody towards end game content so fast, it's retarded. I remember it would take literally months for you to hit like level 15 and level 20. Months. I mean, months and months of gameplay. And I just watched a review on Black Desert Online, and it took the guy to get the level 20 in 20 hours. 3 hours you got the level 20. I'm like, how the hell do you do that? Why do that? You're just blasting through content, and you might have missed a quest, you might have missed an area in game that you no longer can enjoy with a group of friends because level 15 you're hacking through there and they're still like level 10 or level 15. It's no fun like that. So, I like this old hardcore, die-hard gaming. I like that. It's a challenge, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment, too, when you do defeat the boss mob.
Alright, so I think that covers it down.
I think so, brother.
So, we hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you guys next time.
Yeah, don't forget to pledge.
Yep.
Pantheon.
Take
Rise
care,
of the
guys.
Fallen. Don't forget to pledge. See ya.